Hello, we thought it'd be really interesting to share some of the data that we've been collecting over the years since back in 2015. And basically, the data is fed from the match referee's iPad that you see where they're working with the squash ref system. Now, when we're looking at the US Open as an example, what we can see is we can start to look at different trends. Now, back in 2015, there were 46 matches with 716 decisions, and they were coming out at an average of 15.6 decisions per match. So the players were playing 4.1 points for every single decision that was given. Now, this is looking at both men and women together. So we'll have a look at that first. And then if we look at 2022, a lot more matches being covered, so 93. And that is because we're able to stream a lot more and we've got more iPads, so the system's been evolving. And when we look at the average number of decisions, there's 12.8 per match. And that equates to 4.9 rallies being played for every single decision. So there's quite a considerable drop in the number of decisions per match as a trend from 2015 to 2022. So continuing our deep dive into the statistics of the US Open, to give an example of all the data that's being collected by the iPads when you see the referee using them in the hot seat. And where we're focusing on the average decisions per match, and also the number of points played per decision. And if we're looking at the men's and we go back to 2015, there was 15.9 decisions on average per match, and that equated to just 3.8 points being played for every single decision. Now, when we look at 2022, and 2022 was a particularly good year for the men, but they had an average of 12.7 decisions per match, and that is very low. Generally, anything around that 15 mark is pretty good. And when you look at some of the other years, sort of 2016, it was up at 19, 2018 at 18.2. We look at 2022, and that is very impressive. And that works out at 4.6 rallies being played for every decision. So when we're looking at that trend, you have to say that we're achieving more free-flowing squash and less decisions during matches. So in our final look at the US Open statistics, we're going to focus on the women's game. And we're going to carry on looking at the average decisions per match and then the number of rallies being played per decision. So if we go all the way back to 2015, we'll see that we only collected 23 matches worth of data. And that's because we didn't have the resources to collect more. But those 23 matches gave us 351 decisions, which worked out at 15.3 decisions on average per match. So the players were playing 4.5 rallies for every decision. So if we come all the way forwards to the most recent US Open in 2022, you can see that we've collected 47 matches worth of data, and that gave us 600 decisions, and it works out at 12.8 decisions on average per match. Now, what's really interesting about that figure is it's 0.1 more than the men's average decision per match, and it's the first time that the women's has actually been higher than the men's in a platinum event like this. But the women are still in a very competitive field, playing 5.2 rallies per decision. So when you look at all the averages across all the different events, that holds up and it's pretty solid. So that concludes our look at the statistics around the US Open. Moving forwards, there's a lot more that we can look at, as well as the average decisions per match and the number of rallies being played. We can look at the percentages of decisions, of strokes, yes lets, no lets, and also at how many of the reviews are upheld or overruled. So it gives you a bit of an insight to some of the data we collect, and hopefully you enjoyed it.